Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. Happy Monday to you. Hope everything's going well in your world and you're not meeting too much of a fresh new Monday hell. I wanted to talk today about a crash that happened last week down in Florida. Again, it was an illegal immigrant based out of California with a CDL that he shouldn't have had. Now, I'm going to start this by saying that I have heard through the grapevine that there are several states that are telling their DOT officers to stand down regarding President Trump's executive order on the English proficiency standards. So I am urging right now, all of the members of the U.S. House of Representatives to put it into law. That way they can't tell their officers to stand down on that. It needs to be addressed. Another thing that needs to be addressed, I was listening to the news this morning, and the anchor said he received a text this morning from officials in Florida saying that after the driver has served his time for those charges, or been charged in Florida, then they'll turn him over to ICE to be deported. Okay. I don't know. I don't think the taxpayers should be responsible for feeding and housing and paying for medical and dental for this scumbag that wasn't supposed to be here anyway. And frankly, I think if you're here illegally and you shouldn't have had a CDL here in the first place, and you kill any of our citizens, I think you should get the death penalty. And no fucking around with 20 years in jail waiting on death row. No. You take them right to the fucking chair. Plain and simple. As far as American truck drivers, I mean, honestly, let's take a look at what happened. He made a left-hand turn from the right-hand lane to go into a crossover there was a sign there saying it was for official use, which even if there wasn't a sign there, you don't do that. If you need to turn around, you go to the next exit, get off, and turn around. That's how you do that. If it's 20 miles to the next exit, damn the bad luck. South Dakota's that way. You know, you might have 40, 50 miles between exits, but you don't turn around in the median. You pay closer attention. That's the only option you got. But yeah, anyway, people crashed into the side of his trailer and died. Any truck driver worth their salt knows you don't do that. You don't make a U-turn in the median. Ever, no matter what. You don't do it. Okay? You newbies, heed my words. You don't do it. Plain and simple. Whether there's a sign or not. But anyway, now if this was an American driver that did obtain a CDL legally here, I think it needs to be investigated. I think it needs to be looked at as far as the experience of the driver. I think that the school that the driver went to should be looked at and make sure that they are teaching adequately, because I know a lot of these truck driving schools, quote unquote, nobody fails, everybody passes, and that shouldn't be, because not everybody should be doing this. I think it should be reviewed. If you're looking at a rookie driver, I think it should be reviewed, the experience of the trainer that trained them, because after truck driving school, they should be put out with a trainer for 6 to 8 weeks, and that trainer should have a minimum of 10 years over the road experience. And I say that because, like that, for a purpose. A truck driver that has been driving local in Phoenix for the last 15 years is not really going to be able to teach a rookie driver, a fresh graduate out of truck driving school. That driver that's been driving local in Phoenix knows nothing about going off of Snoqualmie Pass in December. Plain and simple, you know. Stuff like that needs to be taught by somebody with experience and planning trips and everything having to do with the company that they're going to work for. So, and like I say, there's a lot of, one of the biggest, I think I still say one of the biggest problems we have in the trucking industry today is the training. The training. You know, I was very fortunate. I went through a VOTEC truck driving course at a VOTEC. The instructor actually did that as a side gig. He was an owner-operator leased on with a pretty good-sized company out of Sioux Falls, and he would go out on runs with them when he didn't have a class to push. And then after I left there, I went to work for a company that put me with a trainer that had 23 years over the road experience. And I mean, we went back and forth, coast to coast, over the mountains and through the woods, you know. And he flat out told me, he said, the majority of what you learn, you're going to learn after you get away from me, you know. He said, I can give you the basics, and that's about it. But you know what? Some of those basics were pretty important basics, and I still adhere to them today. I still hear his voice telling me things. So that's the kind of stuff that we need to look at out here, because we really do. We have rookies training rookies, and that shouldn't be. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to them. You know, they're getting, I know the trainers are getting a penny or two more a mile for being trainers, but honestly, they weren't adequately trained to be trainers. The majority of them, I shouldn't say that, you know, I mean, maybe these companies have some experienced trainers, but I know that some of these mega carriers, they're putting people in the training seat that have no business in the training seat. So anyway, but yeah, our government needs to start looking at this a little harder, because like I say, there's states out there that I'm being told aren't enforcing the English proficiency, and we need to get these non-domicile CDL holders off the road. They're not American, plain and simple. They're not. If they can't speak the language, if they can't read the signs, if they're dumber than a box of rocks, and that includes Americans, sorry, get them off the road. We don't need them. I mean, seriously, this is one of those professions where common sense has to come into play. It has to. It has to. That's all I got for you today, kids. Be safe out there. And let me know what you think in the comments, all right?